this is just the radar of it. It is making its way east northeast out of the areas of Walthall County, but still, this is going to be this is a very serious and dangerous situation if you live into areas into southeastern portions of Walthall County. So again, this is an area that we're going to be closely watching. If you live on Brandon Bay Road, and if you live into areas of George Washington Road, Houston Andrews Road, along areas south of Highway 98. So areas south of Highway 98, east of Tylertown is where we're seeing this tornado right now, confirmed on the ground. Again, we talked about this all morning, that we were very easily able to see these quick spin up tornadoes. The tornado is on the ground. You need to make sure you are moving into your safe space, wherever it might be. Take cover now if you live into these areas. Again, this is into areas outside of Walthall County, into areas into, I believe that's Lamar and Marion counties. But again, this is a confirmed tornado on the ground in Walthall County. So you need to make sure you are seeking shelter immediately as this storm is tracking towards that Highway 98 corridor, making its way to the east-northeast, back into areas, if it still holds together, into Columbia. So this is something that we're going to continue to watch out for. Let me get a track for you. So again, that little debris ball right there, just to the north of Dexter, that's the area that we're seeing that tornado. You can easily see the contrast of the dark red and the bright blue and green. That's where we're seeing that confirmed tornado on the ground. So this is observed. The National Weather Service has put out their advisory. This is, it goes until, let me see here, 7:30 in the morning. And we're going to continue to track this out here over the course of the next couple hours. So this is where it is right now, into the areas east of Tylertown. So as the storm continues to track off to the east-northeast, Columbia, you are next up on the docket. And again, if this thing still holds together, it'll be into areas of southeastern portions of Jefferson Davis County. So along that Highway 42 area near Melba, if this storm can still hold together. So again, this tornado is on the ground in eastern portions of Walthall County. Here's a look at that velocity scan. Again, fairly broad for now in terms of that last scan. However, this most recent one, and switching to the other velocity signature, again, you can see it's fairly tight into areas south of that Highway 98 corridor near Ryan's Road. So this is an area that needs to seek shelter immediately, as we're going to be tracking this out over the course of the next hour or so. Again, this is a very dangerous situation. It's a confirmed tornado on the ground. There's a look at that debris signature now as this moves through the 10 Mile Creek Road area. So again, Brandon Bay Road into areas east of Tylertown, north of the areas of Highway 48 near Dexter. You are not in the warning, Tylertown. I want you to be aware, if you live in Tylertown, you are not under this tornado warning. It's into areas east of that along Highway 585. And again, this is moving into areas of Marion and let me make sure I say it right. Okay, Lamar and Marion County. Now, again, if it still holds together, it will be in south central Jefferson Davis County around that 7:30 mark. At 6:28, we had that confirmed tornado on the ground. It is moving east northeast at 30 miles an hour. This was a radar confirmed. Again, remember, flying debris will be dangerous to those of you that are caught out. If you travel along Highway 98 for work, for school, for any reason at all, pull off to the side of the road. Try to find shelter immediately as we speak. It'll be near the Columbia area around 6:35. So actually, that's wrong, because there's the storm right there. It's still south of Highway 98. And then we look at our most recent scans. The velocity is still back there as well. So again, it's slowed down a little bit, but we're mainly focusing on that area of where you see a lot of that red turn into the yellow and then go back into red. So again, this is south of Highway 98 now. The National Weather Service said that it would be at 9:35 in Columbia, but it's slowed down just a tad as the storm continues to make its way off to the east-northeast. Again, this is into areas south of Highway 98. You need to make sure you are seeking shelter immediately if you live into areas outside of Walthall County. So again, this is a very dangerous situation. We have that confirmed tornado on the ground now into areas east of Tylertown. So let's take a look at the storm's path. Again, we've seen it. We actually still see that debris signature there. And again, I need you to make sure you are aware that this tornado is on the ground. Take shelter now if you live into eastern portions of Walthall County, that as it moves into Lamar as well as into Marion counties. So just make sure you are being aware of that going into the start of your day. This is not for elsewhere in central Mississippi. We have no other warnings to report. Actually, yes, we do now. The National Weather Service has just issued a tornado warning as well for Leake County and Madison County. So we're starting to see things pick up here. We'll go off into that storm as well. So let's take a look at this system. This is back into areas outside Carthage. This is the cell that we tracked multiple hours ago. So we've been talking about this storm cell over the past couple hours. And again, this system has shown some areas of tight rotation outside of Farmhaven, outside of Canton, and back into areas into Flora. We've been talking about this over the past hour. So again, we really focused on the fact that this storm could have easily dropped a tornado warning. And again, this is a observed tornado warning as well. So we have confirmation from the National Weather Service that there is a tornado on the ground 10 miles west of Carthage, 7 miles south of Thomastown. This warning goes until 7:30 as well. We're going to be focusing on both of these warnings at the same time. So again, once that system moves out of Walthall County, that goes into areas outside into Hattiesburg. So we're going to be focusing on that here into the next little bit. But again, this is the confirmed tornado warning for Leake, Madison counties. This goes until 7:30 in the morning. This is an observed tornado on the ground. If you live in Carthage, you are next up on the docket. It should be in your area around 6:40. So you need to seek shelter immediately, as we will be talking about the storm making its way to the east. Let me get that pulled up again. Hold on one second. It will be into areas east of Carthage at roughly 6:45 in the morning. So again, in the next 15 minutes, it'll pass through Carthage now. So this is a very fast moving storm. It's moving east at 30 miles an hour, and it should slow down just a tad. But to be honest with you, there is that tight knit rotation. We've been talking about this all morning. Again, this is just to the areas south of St. Anne. So let me zoom in on the roads for you. If you have any family or friends, or if you yourself live on St. Anne Road, Willis Road, Red Dog Road, Long Hills Road. This is areas right outside Carthage. So if you live into areas north or to the west of Carthage along Highway 25, Highway 429, Highway 35, into areas south of Singleton, south of Conway, you need to seek shelter immediately. A confirmed tornado is on the ground as we speak. It should be into the Edinburgh area around 7:05, Singleton, 6:45, Carthage here in the next couple minutes. Now it's going into areas east, so it's making that beeline east. So again, let me pull up that storm track for you. Again, it is in that St. Anne community right now as we speak. Give me 1 second there. Okay, there we go. It's moving east through St. Anne near Edinburgh around 7:34 if it holds up. So this is for that 30-mile-an-hour range. St. Anne right now as we speak, you need to be in your safe space right now. If you're in Carthage, you are on that southern mark, but still, this has been a focus for us over the past couple hours. We've been talking about this one cell before the show's even started at 4:30. So this has come to us at no surprise. We've been keeping you updated on this cell over the past little bit near Redwater, again at 6:59. And this continues the tornado warning for Leake County. Again, they shaved off the Madison County portion. So if you're Madison County, you are done with this warning. You have no concern with this cell that is making its way off to the east. But if you are in Carthage, you need to seek shelter immediately. They shaved it down a little bit. Again, like I just said, it's moving off to the east. Carthage, you are now no longer included in downtown. If you live in areas south of that Highway 25 corridor, you should be in the clear. But we're mainly focusing on areas along Highway 25. Pull off. Find a place that you can actually go seek shelter immediately, as we're going to be tracking out this storm here in the next couple minutes. Let's circle back. We have two warnings right now. Let me get you both of these warnings out there again. That's for Leake County in central Mississippi. And then we have this confirmed tornado in Walthall County. Again, this is making its way off to areas east, northeast, out of our viewing area, back into areas of Columbia, and making its way, if it holds together, if it can hold together. Again, with this system that we've been tracking over the past couple of days, we've really honed in on the fact that we were going to be looking at isolated quick spin up tornadoes. And with that, you could easily see some of these cells produce that. The velocity is still showing that we actually are tracking an isolated tornado out there just into areas outside of Columbia now. Again, it was a very brief confirmed touchdown in Madison to Leake County line. So on the Madison to Leake County line, the National Weather Service confirmed that there was a very brief TDS. So let's pull that up for you and slow it down. Let's take a look here and see exactly where it was going in that scan. There it is, right into areas east of Revive. That's where we saw that brief touchdown into areas along the Leake and Madison County line. We've seen that system continue to track off to the east. It could be a pulsing storm, but still a very broad area near St. Anne is where we're actually tracking that tornado. Again, that was a confirmed tornado. It's that confirmed tornado is actually now out of our viewing area into areas of Walthall County, back into areas of Marion, as well as into areas of Lamar County. So again, we're going to come back to that system once it gets a little bit closer to the Jefferson Davis County area. Walthall, you are looking to be in the clear now, as that tornado has now crossed back into areas outside of Walthall counties. So again, you just have to be aware that they're really focusing on the stronger circulation off to areas east. It's moving near the areas of Columbia. So I know a lot of people in Tylertown travel to Columbia for work, for possibly even into school. So just make sure you are aware that that system is continuing to track into areas off to the south. So that's going to be a focus for us as you get forward for your day today. But again, our main concern right now is this area along Highway 429 and Highway 25. Please, if you travel along Highway 25 outside of Carthage, seek shelter immediately. Make sure you just take the exit into 429 back into Carthage and along Highway 35. Again, you want to get off of the road with this system making its way off to the east. The debris tracker is looking much better with this system. So more than likely, this tornado was a very quick touchdown just along that county line of Madison into Leake, but it's continued to lift up. We call that a pulse in the storm system, and this system continues to track off to the east. Again, if it holds together, we'll be really focusing on the fact that it's going to be making its way crossing along Highway 429 here in the next little bit. Again, the velocity is showing that we still have a little bit of a tight couplet out there into areas east of St. Anne and Highway 429. So if you have any friends or family that live, or if you live off of Highway 429 near Harkins Road, Tracy Road, Hughes Road, back into Meadows, seek shelter immediately. Highway 35, you are next. This is into areas north of Carthage, into areas outside Redwater. Highway 25, you are on the docket here, and it will be crossing into the areas around Luther. That's where we'll see our best chance to see that tornado, if it can hold together, cross into a good portion of central Mississippi. So again, we've tracked this out over the past couple hours. We started it all the way back whenever it was around Florida. We saw a little bit of a tight rotation, and we've seen this storm system pulse, and that's what we're continuing to see here in the area. So again, the debris tracker looking much better. The live view of your first alert radar, again, is showing that it's more than likely rain wrapped. You're not more than likely going to be seeing this cell as you will be heading on out here. Then again, the scans, let me face this. There we go. Okay, there's a look at that rotation now, just off to the northeast or north of St. Anne. So this is where that tornado would be on the ground right now. They're continuing the tornado warning for Jefferson, Davis, Lamar, and Marion County. So Walthall, you are now no longer included in that warning. Let's go back here and let's take a look at that as we go into central Mississippi. Again, a wider view. We actually have another tornado warning south of that Walthall County. So again, this is something to note as well. If you live further off to the southeastern portions of Walthall County, back into areas along Highway 48, into areas southeast of Dexter, you go off into Louisiana, there's a tornado warning there north of Pine Cliff, Pine and State Line. They're next up in that warning. So with that, if you live into areas outside of Sandy Hook and outside of that Highway 43 corridor, south of Columbia, you need to be on alert for that system. But again, this system into areas outside of Tylertown, outside of Walthall County, you are looking much better now. So the good news is you are in the clear from this warning. Still talking about chances that you see multiple other cells roll through your forecast as the morning continues. But again, Tylertown, you are in the clear right now. If you travel, look, they just got rid of that warning into eastern portions of Walthall County. So the good news is you are in the clear. This is into areas now. If it holds together, it looks to be heading off to areas just west of downtown Columbia. So Morgantown, exposed along Highway 35, Highway 586 into Hamage. And again, if it holds together into areas of south central Jefferson Davis County. That does include areas, if it can hold together, south of Bassfield. You need to be on alert and aware that this storm, if it can hold together, will be making its way towards you into the next couple hours. Our main concern is this storm system into Leake County. They've actually trimmed down the line into Leake County. There, again, we talked about the pulsing of this storm. Still has the potential to drop a tornado at any second, but they took away the observed tornado risk with this cell. I think that was the right call. We're not seeing as much of a closed circulation. There's no confirmed touchdown on the debris tracker, which is good. That is looking good, but still, the alert is there. You need to be on alert and aware that we could be tracking out multiple chances for this pulsing storm to really continue to drop a just very quick and isolated tornado. So with that, it will continue to make its way off to the east. Again, let me get a little bit of a wider view here. There we go. Okay, so it'll be in Luther at 7:08 if it holds together. This is two areas north of Carthage along Highway 25, in between Carthage and Louisville. You need to be on alert and aware. If it holds together, to go into eastern Mississippi, into areas north of Philadelphia along Highway 16. So this is something that you need to be aware of, is that we're going to be tracking out this storm system to continue into your forecast over the next couple hours. So again, this is just the first round. We're tracking multiple chances for severe weather here into the rest of your day today. That's why we issued that first weather day. That's why we have that slight risk in effect for your area. So again, very quick spin ups, very possible throughout the whole day today. And you need to be alert and aware. Download the Wlbt First Alert weather app. Download multiple weather apps. I don't care what weather apps you download. You need to have ways of staying updated and alert, multiple ways throughout the rest of the day today, as we could be tracking out multiple chances for you to see strong to severe thunderstorms into your forecast. So please make sure you have your plan set in place throughout the rest of the day. You might not be dealing with tornadoes right now, but someone else is. So please take the 10 minutes, step aside, and just do it. Make sure you set your plans in place for the rest of the day today. We still are going to be talking about the chance that you actually see a confirmed tornado throughout the rest of the day today. We saw this one just in two areas outside of the Madison and Leake County line. So if you do have any friends or family along the Highway 43 area on the Madison County line, you need to make sure that you are being aware of that, that we did see that confirmed touchdown. This is a live view out there thanks to our storm tracker. This is in Canton. So we've seen a lot of heavier storms. This storm that actually produced that tornado, well, that has made its way into Canton now. So we are going to be talking about this being very disruptful into your morning commute time. So again, please make sure you are continuing practice safe driving, as well as the fact that this storm that has now produced a tornado did move through Canton earlier. They are doing late arrival for the schools around 10 a.m. this morning. So again, just make sure you are aware that we are going to be tracking this out for the rest of the day today. And please, we actually have another update here. So they're continuing the tornado warning in Leake County. They did remove the confirmed time, like we just talked about the CC drop. So the debris tracker, very good that we're not seeing anything popping up there on our debris tracker, but that's not to say that that's not possible again for the rest of the morning. So please make sure you are aware that although the rotations weakened, we're seeing a lot of pulsing with these storms. As you know, we saw a very quick little spin up a little bit earlier along that Madison County and Lee County line. We saw a very quick spin up in Walthall County into areas east of Tylertown. So again, we are focusing on multiple systems here, multiple storms. The system down in Tylertown has actually moved on out of our viewing area now into areas outside of Hattiesburg. So that is going to be something that we're going to be talking about now into areas of Columbia, Jefferson Davis, Lamar, and Marion County. So again, they've actually just honed this down a little bit more. So this is something to know. This is the most recent update with this warning. This goes until 7:30. Now includes a better portion of areas south of Bassfield. So if you live in Bassfield, you need to be alert and aware that if this system can hold together, it is on its way towards you. This is into areas outside of Columbia. We're going to pull up the velocity tracker. Again, it's becoming a little bit more broad. That's why they've taken away the confirmed tag on this system. They're not seeing that debris tracker anymore. Still a little bit there, but not enough to actually say that there's a distinct cell that's moving through the area. But still, we would be looking around that 587 corridor near Morgantown into areas south of that, north and to the west of Highway 13 in Columbia. So again, you need to be alert. If you travel on Highway 98 from Tylertown into Columbia and back into Hattiesburg, well, We are going to be tracking out this storm over the course of the next hour or so. Again, this goes until 7:30. We're going to be live for you as we track this system moving into areas of Jefferson Davis County. And if you live along Highway 42, stretching all the way from Melba into Bassfield, back into areas outside of Prentice, you need to be alert and aware that this system can turn at any moment. And again, drop a tornado. We've already seen one confirmed into areas outside of Tylertown. So again, just make sure you're being alert and aware that that's what we're tracking here in central Mississippi. Here's that live view of this storm into areas outside of Redwater now into Carthage. So let's pull up the velocity scan. Again, we're starting to see a little bit more broad rotation, but a little bit of a difference there south of Conway. So again, we are going to be focusing on, they actually canceled the tornado warning for Lamar County. So it now goes just for Jefferson Davis and Marion County. But this system is continuing to make its way off to the east near Highway 35 here in the next little bit. Starting to see a little bit more of that tight rotation. Let's pull up a different velocity scan. Yeah, again, we're still seeing a pretty distinct scan of some rotation going on here along Gee Road back into areas west of the Highway 35 corridor. If you're traveling on Highway 35 right now, you need to get off the road and seek shelter immediately. Again, this is for Leake County as it makes its way off to the east and northeast. Let's pull up the most recent details on this storm here. Give me 1 second. I pull this up for you. Again, you need to seek shelter immediately if you are in Leake County. This goes until 7:30 as well. Both warnings are until 7:30, but we'll be with you for them if they are continued downline and downwind. So right now, it is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing the tornado. This has already shown that it has been able to produce before. We had that confirmed touchdown along that Madison and Leake County lines. And again, it's been pushing off to the east at roughly 30 miles an hour, fairly quick moving storm. It's starting to lose a little bit more of that juice. So the good news with this system is that it is starting to lose a little bit more strength. That's good, but still going to be tracking this out here over the course of the next hour. If you live in Redwater, Singleton, and Renfro, it'll be in your area in the next couple minutes. Edinburgh, if it still holds together, around 7:05 to 7:30. So you need to make sure you're alert and aware that this system will travel along that Highway 16 area and make its way off to the east. So again, if it holds together, you travel on Highway 16 into Carthage, Edinburgh, back into Pearl River, you need to be alert and aware that this system, if it holds together, will move into your area here in the next little bit. So that's a concern for us. Let's go back into areas south now. So Walthall County, you are no longer under the tornado warning. That is good. We saw that confirmed touchdown a little bit earlier. And with that cell that moved on through, it's now moving through areas of Marion County and with it back into areas of Jefferson Davis County along Highway 42. But also look at this other cell that we're looking at just off to areas south of Walthall County. This, if it holds together, will move it into areas southeast of Dexter into our far southeastern portion of Walthall County near Twin Bridges Road. If it holds together near Sunlight Road, Upper Sunlight Road along the Highway 48 corridor, you need to make sure you are aware that if you live between Sandy Hook and into Dexter, you need to be alert about this cell that could possibly, if it holds together, move into your area. But again, our main focus is the cell that has been confirmed on a tornado. Actually, another update for you. We talked about the area of broadening rotation into Leake County. It's good. It has fizzled out. Again, you need to be on alert still if you live into areas north of Carthage along Highway 16 because this system has been pulsing throughout the whole morning. We've seen it flare up into Flora. It died off a little bit. It flared up again into Canton. Died off a little bit around Farmhaven, and then it ramped up just outside the Madison and Leake County line. So it's been pushing off to the east as we've gone forward throughout the rest of the morning, but thankfully they have canceled that warning. So our main concern now is no longer into Leake County. If you're a Leake County, you are in the clear for now. You need to be on alert though, because that system is known to pulse. We could be talking about another chance that you see a strong thunderstorm move into your forecast. Now turning off to the south, the only warning that we have in our area now is into Jefferson Davis County. This is into Columbia. Again, this storm has produced a tornado already. We saw it produce the tornado into Walthall County, and that was just a couple scans ago. So let's go back a little bit and track about where it has gone and where it's been. So into areas of Tylertown, you have been in the clear. But then we saw a little bit of a ramp up there right outside of Kokomo into areas south of Highway 98. This was into areas southeast of Cardo and south of Highway 98, directly due east of Tylertown. And it's been making its way off to the east-northeast at 30 miles an hour, now ramping up a little bit more north now. We've seen a couple little quick spin ups, very possible. Again, this is the area that we're focusing on right here along Highway 586 in southeast of Morgantown. It's going to be making its way off to the east-northeast. Again, if it holds together, it will be into areas south of Bassfield here in the next little bit. So again, it's going to be making its way off to the east-northeast. There's that storm relative velocity. It's still showing you there is that area of rotation. The storm, actually, the National Weather Service has just released another update on that Lake County tornado. Again, we talked about it collapsed. The warning has been discontinued now for the areas of Lake County and into Madison County. So again, you just need to make sure you have your safe space. You are aware of the storms that will continue to move through your forecast throughout the rest of the day today. Let's track to see if there's been any hail recently with some of these cells that have been moving through your forecast. It doesn't look like they, again, these are very quick spin ups here over the past little bit. And if you see anything at all, it'll be very quick, very fast moving. That was that storm near Carthage into Lake County. Again, that has pushed off to the east. Still, if you live in Edinburgh and into Philadelphia, be on alert and be aware that we could be tracking that storm moving into your forecast. But our main concern is to areas north of Columbia now. If the storm still holds together, the rotation's been broadening out, which is good. Still, you need to be alert and aware if you live in Bassfield along Highway 42 and into areas along that Highway 13, along Society Hill Road, into Society Hill, back into Candy Lane, and along Nickel Pierce, Grice, J.L. Robbins Road, back into areas around Ebenezer Church Road, into the Mill Road area, back into Bass Bucket Road. If I'm saying names that sound familiar to you, you need to seek shelter immediately as this storm continues to make its way off to the east-northeast. Here's the most recent update with that tornado warning here into areas of Jefferson Davis County. So again, it goes until 7:30. This is the most recent breakdown of it at 6:56 in the morning. So just a minute ago, the system was located almost on top of Columbia. It's into areas west of Columbia, into the western portions of that Columbia area. So along that Highway 13 area, pretty much back into areas outside of Highway 35. So if you lived into Columbia, east of Highway 35, you are not necessarily having to deal with this. But if you live into areas west near Morgantown and Highway 13 and Highway 587, you need to be on alert and aware as the system tracks along Highway 35 back into areas outside of Jefferson Davis County. So this is radar indicated rotation. That does not mean we have a confirmed tornado on the ground, but this system has also been pulsing. So with that, and with that known of these systems over the past couple hours, pulsing, gaining strength at one moment and weakening in another, well, you need to be aware that this system can easily ramp up. It'll be near the Bunker Hill area around 7 a.m. So the next couple minutes, it'll be near Bunker Hill as we speak. So again, it's making its way off into areas near Improv around the 7:15. What's still moving a little slow near Expo still, as it does track off to the east-northeast at roughly 30 miles an hour. Again, that's that broad area of rotation near the western portion of Columbia, northwestern. Again, you need to make sure you are seeking shelter immediately, have your safe plan in place, even though you might not be in this warning. Again, all of central Mississippi needs to be aware that we're going to be tracking out damaging winds, large hail, and the potential for flash flooding into your day-to-day, as well as the fact of some isolated tornadoes. So flying debris is very dangerous. So those of you that are caught without shelter outside could easily have major issues. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed whenever we come to tornadoes. So damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles are likely to occur, as well as tree damage. You need to make sure you are aware of that, that these systems are no joke. A quick little spin up can still cause a lot of damage. So just please be aware and please be alert going into the rest of the day today. Again, you want to make sure that you are taking shelter. And with that, what are some of the best places? You want to make sure you are moving to a basement, an interior room, or the lowest floor of a sturdy building. You want to avoid windows. And if for some reason you are outdoors or in a mobile home or a vehicle, you want to move to the closest substantial shelter that is around you and protect yourself from flying debris. So again, you need to make sure you are alert and aware. Could have hail upwards of probably 3/4 of an inch, maybe up to 1/2 inch with this cell that's moving on through the exposed area. Again, this is mainly outside of our area. It's been weakening a little bit, but still showing a little bit of strength out there. Thankfully, the debris tracker is still not showing any tight knit areas of the debris, which is good. That's a very good sign that this system has not produced a tornado on the ground right now. They've gotten rid of the confirmation tag with it, so that's another good sign. But again, this is something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. Here's another view of the first alert radar. Again, there's that storm near that Kosciuszko and Carthage area that did produce a tornado along the Madison and Lee County line that has continued to push off to the east, but it did weaken substantially. But again, be aware that we do have these pulsing storms. Again, that's going to be a word that you'll hear a lot today is the pulsing, because it'll gain a lot of strength, it'll weaken, and continue to do that throughout the rest of the day today. But again, we have seen a little bit of rotation into that system, but thankfully it's pretty much died on out into areas further off to the north. So that's the good thing. Into areas outside now, let's go check on this system developing into Louisiana. So with this tornado warning, just into areas outside of Walthall County, still seeing a pretty tight-knit area of rotation into Pine, and that'll be making its way to State Line here. That tornado warning remains in effect until 7:30 as well. This is into the north central Washington Parish area. Again, if it holds together, it will be making its way into areas off to the east-northeast. So around State Line at 7:20, Sandy Hook at 7:47, and around Hub at 8 o'clock. So again, this is a storm that we will continue to monitor if it does pass through Walthall County or if the warning is continued into Walthall County. So again, just make sure you're being alert and aware if you do live into areas outside of Dexter. Again, this is not for Tylertown. This is not for Tylertown. If you live in Tylertown, you are in the clear. So you do not have to be concerned with this system that is moving off to the east, northeast. So you are good. You are in the clear right now. But again, our concern is with that system just outside of the Columbia area. Still looking at a fairly broad area of rotation. We're actually going to get this moving here. Again, we've seen that rotation move through areas outside of Columbia, northwest along that Highway 35 area. It's been slowing down, and that's fairly common whenever we get these storms that do pulse a quick possible tornado. Again, the debris tracker not showing a clear indication of a tornado. Again, we have that just a current warning. This is the only warning in our area right now in central Mississippi. That's good. We do have that warning right outside of Walthall County. We're going to continue to monitor that. But again, the only county underneath a warning right now is into Jefferson Davis County. So if you live in Jeff Davis County, that is a system that you need to watch out for, but not for everyone in Jeff Davis County. This is mainly into areas south and to the east of Bassfield, south of Prentice. So again, not for everyone. This is a concern only if it holds together, which again, it's showing that it has weakened quite a bit. And that's very good news for us here in central Mississippi. But of course, this is a something that we do need to take serious. Again, this is a radar indicated tornado warning. It does remain in effect for the area until 7:30. So if we need to stick with you all the way until this warning continues or expires, we'll be the first to let you know the details on that. But please seek shelter immediately if you live south of Bassfield and in this warning. Even if you live in Bassfield, I would suggest seeking shelter or at least having a plan in place for the start of your day today. I know this might be disruptive to your work plans as well as your school plans. You need to make sure you are alert and aware that this system will continue to track off to the east northeast right now as we are heading on out here in central Mississippi. Right now, we have over almost 5,000 people without power in Mississippi, and most of which are coming from Madison County now. We have 1,215 people without power in Madison County. So again, we're going to continue to time that out for you and map that out for you. Simpson County has 387. Further off into Walthall, we only have 2. Jefferson Davis County, 68. Lawrence County, 64. And areas outside of our viewing area, Itawamba is now at 828 and Tishomingo County at 777. So we're going to continue to talk about that throughout the rest of the morning as well. With the concern with this storm, north into the west of Columbia, again, fairly broad area of rotation. That's something that we're going to continue to monitor. Thankfully, if we switch into the New Orleans radar, it's a little bit closer for areas off to the south. Still, not necessarily the most tight-knit area of rotation, fairly broad along that Highway 13 area. It has slowed down quite a bit. So originally expected to be into the areas outside of Bassfield around 7, it has dropped its speed. So again, I want you to be aware of that, that we are going to be tracking that out here into the next little bit. Let's check on this other storm south of Walthall County. I believe they just canceled the warning for, yes, they did. Okay. So that area, you can actually see it ate itself out into Pine and State Line, where we saw a little bit more of a tight-knit rotation there. It just kind of fizzled apart into that Pine community. So that's good. Areas now outside of State Line and Pine and into areas east along that Highway 48 community into Dexter, you are in the clear. So that is good. I would still be on alert, though, because we could easily be tracking out storms into that area throughout the rest of the day today. But of course, we still have this one warning as it makes its way off to the east northeast of Columbia. So right now it is expected to impact areas outside of Melba along Highway 42. Again, this system, if it holds together, the big question is if right now, if it holds together, we will continue to track this out into areas of Jefferson Davis County before letting it go into areas of eastern Mississippi around Laurel, Benson, and into areas outside of Collins. So, of course, this is something that we need to be alert and aware of as we get going here into the rest of your day today. Again, we do have that slight risk still developing here in central Mississippi. So, while that system is still making its way through Marion County, we have that slight risk for every single county here in central Mississippi. Again, this goes for everyone. Doesn't matter how far north, south, east, or west you are in central Mississippi. We are going to be dealing with this throughout the day today. So it starts this morning, and it's all the way through the night tonight. So what that means is damaging winds look to be our main threat. Obviously, as you could tell, isolated tornadoes continue to be a threat for us, as well as the potential for flash flooding and into large hail. So, of course, you need to make sure you have ways to stay alert and aware throughout the rest of the day today. We'll time out the fact that we will be tracking more storms into the afternoon here throughout not only the rest of the day, but also continuing into the nighttime hours tonight. So, again, you need to make sure you are aware of what is going on into the day today. Make sure you download that Wlbt First Alert Weather app for all of the details as we get going here in central Mississippi. This model looks corrupted to me, to be honest with you. We are seeing, let's go back to that 7 o'clock hour. We're already seeing some storms into areas outside of Walthall County and into areas of Jefferson Davis, outside into Marion. And so, to be honest with you, I'm not fully trustworthy of this model. We've already seen multiple storms developing off into southeastern Mississippi. We'll continue to see widespread coverage. Yes, that's true. But I want you to be aware that we are going to be focusing on the fact that severe weather is possible throughout the rest of the day today. We're getting another update in here in the next couple minutes. And here's that live view of that storm tracker. Again, where is this at, guys? Is this in areas still outside of Canton? I-55. Okay, this is on I-55. Again, we have had multiple reports of tornadoes north Mississippi and in South Mississippi. So again, we saw that confirmed tornado in Leake County and the Madison County line. And we're going to be really focusing on getting you a live coverage from areas outside into areas along the I-55 corridor right now. Again, if you live in Canton, just remember that school has been postponed until 10 a.m. And as you are getting ready for your day, these storms will be impactful. And remember, see that car stopped under that underpass? That is what you not need to do. You do not need to stop under the underpass. Those act as a wind tunnel. So whenever you do talk about severe weather, that is what you do not do. I know you probably saw the movie Twisters and thought that that was a good idea. No, that is the complete opposite of what you do. So do not stop under those underpasses. Again, we are going to be really focusing on multiple chances for some strong to severe storms into your day today. And please just remember that, again, don't stop under the underpasses. Have a plan set in place as you go forward into the rest of the day today. We're really focused on this one cell. This is a still look. The Lamar County cell is still hanging in there. So that's what we're focusing on right now, is the cell outside of Marion and Jefferson Davis. Again, the rotation is still very broad into Lamar County. So this is into areas that we're going to be really focusing on here in central Mississippi. Again, we've been tracking out these storms multiple times. They're saying, we've been talking about the repeated chances that you see some cells moving into your forecast. So just make sure you're being aware that even though you might not be under a warning, but if you were, or if we saw a storm under that warning, we have been tracking out chances for just strong to severe thunderstorms to develop as well. So I'm pulling up, let me see here. I'm getting this ready because we have been seeing that Lamar County cell off to the south continue to pulse up and strengthen, weaken. It's gone back and forth. So the rotation's been fairly broad into Columbia, which is good. This has been something that we've been continuously tracking for the next little bit. We're not really expecting this to continue afterwards downstream. However, again, we've seen it strengthen, weaken. So just make sure you are aware that we have been dealing with this very broad rotation here into areas outside of Jefferson Davis County. Still not seeing any debris. Thankfully, so we did have a confirmed debris ball outside of Tylertown into areas, the eastern portions of Walthall counties. So again, I just want to be aware it has the history of producing a tornado, but not necessarily something that we have to be concerned about right now. But it has the potential to easily drop down into producing one in central Mississippi. So the good news is, broad area of rotation here into areas north of Columbia along the Highway 35 area. If you live in the Bassfield, you still need to be alert and aware, but this is something that looks to be dying out here in the next little bit. So it's still trying to hang in there, but thankfully it is starting to weaken drastically. That's still something that we will continue to monitor here in central Mississippi. Again, let's take a look at that cell that was just outside of southeastern portions of Walthall County. Again, still very broad in terms of rotation. That's good. We're not expecting that to continue into our area either. So the good news is things are starting to die on out a little bit. Still have that warning here in central Mississippi. Around the metro, you're still dealing with these isolated showers back into areas around Kosciuszko, Carthage, back into Louisville and Philadelphia. This is the storm that did produce that tornado in Leake and Madison counties. Again, we will continue to get more details on that for you. It was very, very quick, very short. Let's see if we can go back and see that debris ball actually. So this was a look at that debris signature event. Again, very quick. There it is right there near the Revive community and right there along Highway 43. Very, very short, very, very quick. And then as quick as it touched down, it quickly went right back up. So again, that's fairly common with these pulsing storms. You get these storms that very easily just produce a very quick, short-lived tornado, and that's what we're dealing with right now. Again, we had that very short-lived tornado in Leake and Madison County, now dealing with the one into southeastern portions of our area. This is mainly for Jefferson Davis County, not including Monticello, not including Prentice. So if this storm does still hold together, it does not include the Prentice area. You're more than likely in the clear. Going to be dealing with just some heavy thunderstorms out there here in the area. Again, let's take a look at that lightning, showing you that that storm has weakened a lot. Usually with these very strong systems, you get some large hail as well as some lightning mixed in with it. And that shows that the intensity of the storm, but thankfully it is showing signs of weakening into the area. So, of course, still a very broad area of rotation right now. That's been a focus for us. It's starting to have a very small couple along into areas east of Highway 35, north of Columbia. Again, if that does hold together, and that's the big question, is if it holds together, it'll be making its way into areas east of the so it'll be in Dean at 755, Cantwell Mill at 746, Collins at 822, and Williamsburg around 813. So that's something that we're going to continue to track for you throughout the rest of the morning. Even when this warning does potentially drop, we will be watching this system throughout the rest of your day today. Again, this is for areas east of Highway 35, north of Columbia. And if you live south of Bassfield, you are not included in the warning. Melba, you are not included in the warning, but you need to be on alert and aware that this system will impact you into areas of Jefferson Davis County that are included in this warning. Society Hill, you are included in the warning. However, your threat is over. You do not have to be of any concern for the storm. Just make sure you are continuing to practice safe driving as you do get ready for your day. But that warning is well off to the southeast of you now. So that's something that we're going to continue to track out for throughout the rest of your morning. Again, the debris tracker not showing a tight-knit debris or tight-knit signature out there. You could see, again, just a very broad area of rotation. Otherwise, it's making its way off to the east, northeast fairly quickly. Again, this is into areas east of Highway 35 and back into areas south of the Jefferson Davis County. So let's take a broad view one more time of what you could be expecting out there. Again, actually, let's go check out the storm reports. Again, we do have some damage reports actually outside of Tylertown. This is where that tornado was. The debris signature was. It was in the city of Dexter. So they are more than likely going to be needing to survey again, that's going to be something that we're going to watch out for. So we're going to be having more details on that for you throughout the rest of the day today. But overall, still looking at these heavy downpours in central Mississippi. A live view of the storms with that warning. Do have one tornado warning here in central Mississippi for south of Jefferson Davis County. So again, this is for areas outside of Columbia right now, but if it holds together, it'll be making its way into your area of areas outside of Bassfield and into areas of southeastern portions of Jefferson Davis County before making its way near Collins, west of Hattiesburg here over the course of the next couple hours. So again, this is something that we're going to continue to monitor. This is a live view of our storm tracker. This is traveling along I-55. Again, we have seen multiple touchdowns, multiple confirmed radar indicated touchdowns. So this is something that we're going to continue to monitor. This is at North Jackson and Atkins Drive along I-55. Again, this is something that we're going to continue to keep checking in on because this gives you that live view of what you can be expecting as you get ready for your day. Look at that heavy shelf of cloud cover out there. Not seeing a lot of widespread coverage of rainfall here into the metro, though. That's good. Very scattered, very isolated if you see anything at all here in the area. They have actually issued a special weather statement for Choctaw, Neshoba, and Winston County. That's that storm that we tracked a little bit earlier. It's now pushing into areas of eastern Mississippi. So with that storm, you could be seeing wind gusts upwards of 40 to 45 miles an hour, which could still cause a lot of issues, but it's moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. So again, it'll be impacting areas of Louisville around 735, and that will be that system continue to track off to the east. So they've actually continued the tornado warning. They've shaved it down now. So let's take a live view at that. Again, this is a live view of that current warning outside of Columbia. So it goes until 7:30 still. This is a radar indicated system. So the severe thunderstorm capable of producing that tornado was located near Bunker Hill or 10 miles northeast of Columbia, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. So again, I talked about how it slowed down a little bit, and that's really what we've been tracking. So again, it's radar indicated rotation. Let's take a look at that area of rotation. Again, starting to see a little bit of a better and improved hook outside of Improv. This is into areas along Highway 44, a little bit in between that Highway 35 and Highway 44. Again, that county is outside of our viewing area right now, so I won't be able to get a more street level view for you, but this is going to be impacting areas into Jefferson Davis County if it does still hold together. So again, flying debris, it will be dangerous if you are caught outside. You need to make sure that if you live in a mobile home, you are seeking proper shelter. You want to move to a basement or an interior room of the lowest floor in that sturdiest building that you can possibly find around you. So again, that's something that we're going to be continuously looking out for here in central Mississippi. Let's get an updated look at that power outage map. Again, we have 3,500 people without power, 1,200 of which are in Madison County. And we do have a good amount of outages now. Simpson County at 333, Wayne County at 273, and Pike at 183. So again, this is something that we're going to continue to monitor throughout the rest of your day today. Again, we're tracking multiple chances for some strong to severe storms, not just only this morning, but also continuing into the rest of your day today. So again, this area is what we're going to be continuously watching out for. This is into areas outside of Bassville. We've had fairly broad rotation with it, but still, it looks it's actually starting to get its act together a little bit more defined into areas around Improv. We looked at that little hook right there where we see the, I was going to say blue, where we see the green and the red mixed together. So into this area right there is where we're seeing the most broad or the most clear indication of where that rotation would be. Again, it's not fairly indicating into that we're actually seeing a tornado right now, and that's good, but it's still showing that it does have the potential to drop a tornado down. And again, the debris tracker not really showing much out there. That's good. We're not seeing a confirmed tornado. Then if we see the debris tracker show a very clear indication of that tornado as well as it lining up with the velocity and lining up with the radar, well, then we're more than likely looking at that confirmed tornado, which is why we saw that those confirmed tornado tags go out so quickly because everything just lined up so fast. But here's that live view around much of central Mississippi. Again, as you are getting ready for your day today, a very busy outlook for us here in central Mississippi. We do have that slight risk in effect for every single county in central Mississippi, seeing some heavy storms out there across the area. Let's actually get a live view into Tylertown as you are heading on out for the start of your day today, further off into southeastern portions of the state. Again, Walthall County, you are in the clear. You do not have to be dealing with this tornado warning. We are going to be tracking this out into areas outside of Jefferson Davis. Here's a live view of Tylertown, though. Still looking at some heavier rainfall as that low shelf continues to move very quickly. And again, if we see a little bit more clearing, which I'm starting to see a little bit of that sunshine peeking through those clouds, that's not a good thing. We don't want to see a lot of that clearing because that could help add into the instability and the daytime heating effect throughout the rest of the day today. And that'll play a big role in the chances of more severe weather as we get going into your afternoon hours. So again, there's a lot of factors that will go into play with this system making its way through central Mississippi. But again, that live view of that first alert radar just showing you that we are seeing some heavier storms. We've had continued coverage over the past hour now that we've been tracking out this tornado warning outside of areas of Walthall County, now making its way into southwestern or southeastern portions of Jefferson Davis County. Then we had that confirmed touchdown outside of Leake and Madison County. That system has made its way off into eastern Mississippi and now back into areas outside of Meridian. Along I-59, if you do travel around there, you're going to be dealing with a lot of heavy rainfall for multiple hours on end. Now, around the metro, still dealing with some light showers. Again, I want you to be aware that we are going to be tracking just a couple chances for some light showers to impact the rest of your morning commute. Thankfully so. A lot of the storms that rolled on through a little bit earlier have definitely ate up a lot of the instability, but we could need a recharge, especially if we start to see more sunshine here around the metro as well. So that is something to note as you are getting ready for your day. Again, this is the only area of concern that we still have. So let me stop this loop. It's in two areas outside of Improv now. We're really looking at this area into Improv that's along the Highway 44 area. If it holds together, it'll be near the areas of Highway 42 and Melba. So it'll more than likely clip our more southeastern portions of Jefferson Davis County. So if you do live in Bassfield, you are more than likely not going to be dealing with the impacts of this system. But look at the most recent scan, actually. This is showing it's shrink a little bit. So it's becoming a little bit more broad. That's good. That shows weakening of the system as it tracks off to the east, northeast at roughly 25 to 30 miles an hour. Again, this has been a system that we've been continuously tracking, and we talked about the pulsing factor of these cells. With that pulse, you could easily get it to drop a tornado down very quickly. And so again, we're going to be really closely monitoring this situation here over the course of the next little bit. If you do live into areas in Prentice, you are good. This is mainly into areas outside of Bassfield and back into areas along Highway 42 that will see that concern. Near Broome Road, Melba, again, the community of Melba, Lot Drive, out back into the area of Morgan Lane, and again, Morris, you are on alert as well for this system. Make sure you have your plan in place. If this system does hold together, we will be closely watching it. Let's check that debris tracker again. Not showing any widespread chances that we actually see any debris with the system, which is good, showing no confirmation of the tornado on the ground as it makes its way into Jefferson Davis County. Elsewhere in central Mississippi, we are good. We are in the clear. We were watching one system outside of Walthall County, and thankfully it weakened and very quickly died on out just before it entered into the portions outside of Dexter and Sandy Hook. So again, we've been closely watching out a lot of these storms over the past little bit. Again, with that system that went through the areas of what is now pushing into eastern Mississippi, we did have that cell that moved through Flora and then pushed into areas of Canton. And we didn't have that confirmed tornado, but we did see some tight knit rotation in some points. So again, we've been tracking out the pulsing capabilities of these storms over the past couple hours and making sure that you have the most updated information. But again, that only warning that we're tracking out now is down into areas of Marion County. So this is into areas outside of our viewing area. It does include a portion of Jefferson Davis County. We're going to stay on the air as long as Jefferson Davis County is underneath this warning, or any other warning, or any other county in the area is under a warning. So again, this goes into effect until 7:30. So more than likely not going to see this continue again, that unless that rotation does ramp up here in the next couple minutes. But overall, at 7:16, the severe thunderstorm was capable of producing the tornadoes, was 10 miles northeast of Columbia, and it did slow down to roughly 25 miles per hour, moving off to the northeast. So again, this is something that we've been continuously tracking. Flying debris is very dangerous. Make sure, like that car was stopped under the underpass earlier, you do not do that. You make sure that you find good structure, move to the basement, interior room of the lowest floor of that sturdy building. You want to avoid your windows. And if you are outside or in a mobile home or a vehicle, all three of those are grouped together. You want to move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from that flying debris. Again, this is a radar indicated rotation, and it shows the capability of producing that tornado, although we're not seeing confirmation of one right now, which is good. Still has that capability, though. We have been seeing these storms go back and forth, pulsing, and showing us that they are capable of doing that. But here's that live view of that satellite radar. Again, this system has been moving fairly fast and now has recently slowed on down as it continues to go through rotation. But of course, this is something that we're going to continue to monitor over the course of the next couple hours. Again, if this does hold together, now moving into some portions outside of Morris and into the eastern portions of Bassfield. So again, that debris tracker showing a little bit on the Jackson radar, but you go into areas of New Orleans radar and you're not seeing anything. So we want to look for that consistency between the two. So again, we're pretty far from the Jackson radar, whereas the New Orleans radar is actually a little bit closer. So that's good. That's what we're going to be tracking out for throughout the rest of your morning. Again, this is the tornado warning that goes in effect for the next 5 minutes for Jefferson Davis and Marion County. So again, we're going to continue to watch this system. More than likely, if it does continue into areas of southeastern portions of Jefferson Davis County, we will continue to stay on the air to make sure you have the most updated information on this system. But for now, we're really just focusing on the fact that we are going to be tracking multiple rounds of severe weather here in central Mississippi. So you're going to be needing to stay alert throughout the rest of the day today, because that slight risk continues throughout the rest of your day today. So all the way through the night tonight, overnight hours, we do have that slight risk, a little 2 out of 5 risk zone for the chances to see some strong winds, isolated tornadoes, as you can tell, and isolated flash flooding with rainfall chances expected to be anywhere in that 1 to 3 inch mark. So again, we're going to be expecting quite a bit of rainfall. We have all the energy in place, so it's just a matter of, will these storms be able to tap into it? But again, throughout the afternoon, areas south of I-20, you are going to be looking at that higher likelihood of seeing the storm potential as it does make its way off to the east into the day on Saturday. So again, you just need to be alert and aware that we do have that potential to see some stronger and thunderstorms. Also, the potential for some flash flooding. Look at that, a moderate risk for flash flooding into southeastern portions of the state. That does include Brookhaven, Macomb, Monticello, Tylertown, and into areas in Smith County. So you need to make sure you're aware and alert that we will be tracking out a lot of widespread rainfall here into the forecast throughout the rest of the day today. Again, total rainfall looks to be anywhere in that 1 to 3 inch mark, with anywhere up to 4 inches in some isolated spots over the course of the rest of the day today. So again, you need to make sure you are alert and aware that we are going to be tracking out a lot of widespread rainfall here into your forecast. So again, we're really just focused on this one last tornado. So let me give you one updated look at our power outages. We have over 4,100 people without power in central Mississippi, most of which are in Madison County at 1,354 people without power in Madison County. Now getting the numbers in for Leake, we now have 774 people without power in Leake County. Simpson is next up at 333, Warren at 228, Pike at 183, and Tishomingo and Panola County at both 120. So again, this is a storm that we've been tracking over the past couple hours. And with this tornado warning, it is set to expire in 2 minutes. But again, we have that chance to see some very strong thunderstorms develop into the rest of your day today. So again, please make sure you are alert and aware that it's not just for the rest of the morning. It's also into the afternoon and evening hours, with it really peaking into the early afternoon into areas of South Mississippi. So just make sure you are alert and aware. It seems that a lot of the morning storms did eat up a lot of that instability. So if we see a little bit more sunshine, a little bit more clearing, then that's something that we need to be aware of. So let's take a look at a live view around town, at least, while we wait for the details about this tornado warning as it does make its way off into areas outside of Jefferson Davis County. So as you are getting ready for your day today, they have actually issued a special weather statement for this storm. So with this storm system making its way outside of Tylertown now, again, that's a very strong thunderstorm. They've just gone ahead and issued a a special weather statement, not necessarily going to continue that tornado warning downstream. So we're talking about this storm moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. It does still have some broad rotation, but again, it has some very gusty winds upwards of 40 miles an hour here in central Mississippi. It'll be near Seminary around 7:35 and Collins around 7:40. So again, you need to make sure you are aware and alert that we are going to be tracking this tornado warning only for the next minute or so, but even downstream, still talking about very gusty conditions expected for you, even into Macomb. And still isolated showers are possible outside of the area for you. But again, once this warning does expire, we will take you back to normal programming, and we are going to be focusing on this tornado tornado warning into areas south of Bassville. So let's take a look at that velocity one last time. Again, fairly broad. It does have a little bit of a tight knit area around Melba. Not seeing any debris there on our debris tracker though, so that's something that we also look for there. It's still showing maybe a little bit of hail as well into that system. So we are going to continue to map that out for you here into the next couple minutes. Once this warning does expire, though, we are going to be keeping you updated on everything else throughout the rest of the day today. Again, that warning was set to expire at 7:30. The National Weather Service has gone ahead with it and let it expire. So we are going to be continuously watching out the details of your first alert forecast throughout the rest of the day today. But for now, we'll return you to regular scheduled programming.
You have a car accident, no matter how big or how small the injury is, Mike is going to ensure or does everything in his power to push and fight for what you deserve. I can trust that Mike is going to send you in the right direction.